See, listen. One punch of LeBron James to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's on the bed. He's actually going on straight on the bed. These are the top 10 most difficult sports. As a sportsman myself, or as an ex sportsman, or like an off season sportsman myself, I'm gonna judge this and see if it's actually right.
Number 10. Football,
Wait,
also
what?
known as soccer.
Football number 10. Are you
Requiring
mad?
little equipment and with basics
There's
that
no
are
way.
easy to learn. Football has
Football is
unsurprisingly become
it
the
should
most
be
played
4 or
sport
5.
in the world. That being said, while it might be easy to get involved, mastering the nuances and techniques of this game is anything but. Otherwise known as soccer, it's all
That was
about
such a dead
speed
tackle,
and
Jesus
control.
Christ.
It actually requires a higher level of agility than any other sport we'll be discussing today.
Yeah,
Considering the
okay.
size of the field and long periods of often continuous play, it also demands extreme endurance. Add to that the analytical aptitude necessary to coordinate with your teammates and navigate your opponents, and you've got a game that is both physical and cerebral. Number 9. Baseball, softball.
Fuck off.
It might involve
No
a lot
way.
of standing around, but don't let that fool you.
Look at
Baseball
the
and soft-
player that was shown in the stock footage. Look at his fucking pot belly, and look at fucking like
It
a
might
normal
involve a
average
lot
football
of standing
player.
around, but don't let
No
that fool
way.
you. Baseball
way.
and softball are both seriously tough. While the endurance required is marginal compared to other sports, the level of hand-eye coordination they demand is off the charts. And apart from those two outliers,
charts, my
baseball
ass, nah.
and its variant softball requires a mid to high level of performance in pretty much every other one of the categories discussed. Analytical
You're saying mid to high level because you know it's very low. It's because you're American, that's why.
Planning, split-second decisions, and
I mean, look at the people playing the sport.
yeah,
What the
there
fuck?
is a fair amount of downtime, but players never stop thinking. And when they're active, these athletes are giving it their all. Number 8. Gymnastics.
Okay.
We've got one
Okay,
word for you.
fine.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
As baseball
100%.
is to analytical aptitude, gymnastics is to flexibility, and then some. Considering the fact that flexibility seemingly becomes an issue by default as we age, you can only imagine the sort of rigorous training that professional
Yeah,
gymnasts
bro,
go through
bro.
to maintain
Rap.
the
It's
awe-inspiring range of movement essential to their sport. Of course, while professional gymnastics would be literally impossible without a high level of flexibility, that's far from being the only factor. Just look at the
Jesus,
sort
oh
of
my
positions
joints
these
ache.
athletes put themselves into. That requires power to achieve, strength to maintain, and nerves of steel to even attempt.
Yeah.
Number 7. Tennis.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
baseball, this racket sport requires wicked hand-eye coordination. When being served, tennis balls are regularly traveling at well over 100
not
miles
the best-
per hour.
not the best serve.
WTA recognized
And
world
not
record
the-
is
Not the
157.8
best
miles per
practice,
hour for
but
men.
I mean, they can't use any of the like the
131
ATP
miles per hour for
stuff, copyright and that.
Imagine the sort of hand-eye coordination and reflexes required to not only hit a tennis ball traveling at those speeds, but also accurately redirect it. Then there's the power
The best
necessary to
returner.
hit them at that speed to begin with.
The GOAT.
If you've ever played tennis
Novak.
before, you'll know that endurance is also a major factor. It takes excellent cardio to be able to keep moving around the court like that. Agility,
Oh, it's
too.
so done.
Number 6.
so hard.
Martial arts. This one should
Oh.
come as a surprise to no
Oh,
one.
martial arts
To
in
be
number
involved in
6.
martial arts at a professional level.
I'm actually very excited to see what's on number 1. Imagine if it's like something like fucking hockey or something. No way. Imagine if it's like something like fucking hockey or something. No way.
Regardless of which form of martial arts you're talking about specifically, you're going to need power, speed, agility, and durability to make it through a bout. Of course, the analytical aptitude also needs to be there, since you're going toe-to-toe with an opponent both physically and mentally, meaning that you've got to be able to analyze and adapt your approach as you go.
Okay, yeah.
Number 5.
Fair enough.
Wrestling. On the subject of
Oh,
combat
okay.
sports, how about this long-practiced form of grappling? It's an interesting one because, like martial arts, it requires a fair amount of power and flexibility.
Yeah,
But
okay.
it differs from the former in that it demands significantly more strength. Unlike in most sports, when wrestling, your muscles are exerting force for long periods of time rather than in short, powerful bursts. The specifics vary depending on the type of wrestling you're doing, but in all forms of competition, a wrestler is grappling for superiority over their opponent or to push them out of the ring, both of which require tremendous strength to
Yep.
accomplish.
Yeah.
Number 4. Basketball.
Okay,
There
yeah,
are few
bro.
professional sports
Pure
that
power.
demand a more varied performance from their athletes than basketball. This relatively young sport, invented in 1891, is second only to
And that's
football
young.
in terms of agility. But in almost every other regard, it is more taxing on the players. The style of play requires a high level of endurance and analytical aptitude, while the physicality of the sport demands strength, power, and speed. Where it really stands out, however, even within the context of other ball-based sports, is the hand-eye coordination involved.
Yeah.
The target
See,
is
listen. One punch of LeBron James to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's on the bed. He's actually going on straight on the bed.
Small, considering
LeBron
the
is
distance from
fucking-
which the
he's an
athletes
animal.
are often shooting. Number 3, American football. Evolving out of traditional football, meaning soccer, and rugby, this distinctly American game takes a serious toll on its athletes.
Yeah.
Protective equipment and all, the extreme physicality
I
of the
mean, no
game
one
is
except America plays this, but
and injuries are very common, meaning that it requires a high level of durability. The game is truly explosive in nature. While it may have a lot of stopping and starting, from the moment that the quarterback gets the ball, every player on the field, defense and offense alike, is giving 100% to the task they've been assigned. As such, the sport demands both strength and power of a level rarely seen in other sports. Number
Agreed.
2, ice hockey. Requiring only marginally less durability than football, but still a whole lot of it, hockey is arguably the most technically complex team sport that an athlete can play professionally. The speed and style of gameplay require an incredible level of analytical aptitude, and the often lengthy periods of uninterrupted play demand an exceptional level of coordination between players. Of course, because of the physical nature of the game, strength, power, endurance, agility, and speed are all prerequisites. Really?
Is it harder
There
than
are
tennis?
few
No.
aspects of
Is it harder than
athleticism in
football?
which
Hell
hockey
no.
players
Is it harder
can
than
afford
basketball?
to
Piss
not
off.
excel. Number 1, boxing.
Okay, yeah.
This long, popular
Yeah.
combat sport
Fine.
requires an
This is something that I can
off-the-charts
actually agree on.
level of
Ice hockey,
performance
no.
in more
Piss
ways than
off.
one. The length of each round requires a high level of
Jesus.
endurance,
Oh my
while the
God,
nature of the
boxing is
competition
fucked.
demands peak power and strength. Speed and agility might not be quite as crucial as in some of the other sports discussed today, but depending on a boxer's fighting style, they are still major factors. Boxing requires comparable durability to American football, but admittedly more nerve and significantly greater hand-eye coordination. In many ways, a boxer is an athlete operating at peak competitive physical
Yeah,
performance.
agreed. Definitely. Yeah. See, I agree and disagree with this list. Ice hockey is not number 2. Formula 1 should have also been on this list. Some people would say, oh, it's just driving a car. No, it's not. It's actually so far than that. I mean, yeah, this list sort of agree, sort of disagree. But yeah, cheers. Thank you for watching. Peace.
She wants to be my one. That girl, she wants me to. I just wanna be free. I just wanna do me. I just wanna do me. And then feelings enter the mix. I like you, but I'll never admit no.